Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. Welcome. I've never seen you guys before today. This is like a brand new episode and everything. This is awesome. Okay, we're starting about an hour later than normal. I don't know why, but okay. No, today is Friday. It is January 25th. It is the year of our Lord, 2019, and it is 12:01. It is 1 minute after noon. And now we are going to get into episode 78 of the show. Yeah, so this is a full, real deal episode. Like, this is a normal episode of our show. What we did earlier, that was a bonus, ladies and gentlemen. That was a bonus episode for paid. That bonus episode was completely funded by our Patreon supporters. Thanks so much for you Patreon supporter guys. You guys funded that last episode there, and everybody benefited from it. How awesome was that? Just kidding, but kind of. Okay, so here we are. It is episode 78. Let's get into some topics, and let's see what's going on. All right, I do have quite a few stories here. I'm also got this really lovely Fuji apple that I've chopped into pieces, and I'm eating a little bit of it, but unfortunately it's kind of hard to eat this and do a show at the same time. I'd love to do it, but it's just not very good. So I'll have to wait till I have a trailer or something. Okay, so let's get into the number one story of the day. And you know what? The biggest story that we've got going on right now is probably the results of a GDC survey of developers that are out there in the industry. What are you guys working on is basically what the survey is all about. Are you guys working on pancakes? Or are you working on VR? Or are you working on AR? What platforms are you working on is basically the question. It is the pre-GDC survey. And what we're going to do here to check out this pre-GDC survey is we're going to go ahead and bounce over to our full screen 1080p images. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And yeah, here it is. This is our full screen 1080p images. And this has the question, which is which VR/AR headsets platforms are you currently developing for? And so, you know what's interesting? I never really thought of it this way. When I looked at other and I saw that it said 42%, I thought that that meant pancake gaming. But it says which AR, VR headsets are you developing for? And so that's kind of interesting, guys, that 42% of the respondents are working on a headset that is not even listed here. So what are they working on, man? They're working on some top secret, incredible headset that we've never ever known of before. Okay, but we'll forget about that. Let's go back to the world of reality. And the number one response is HTC Vive with 33%. 33% of the developers are banging away on an HTC Vive type of game. Basically, that pretty much means Steam. They're working on some type of VR game that is going to be on Steam. That is 33% of the developers. Number two would be Oculus Rift with 30% of the developers banging away on an Oculus Rift release. Those are the number one and number two choices. Now, number three, a little bit interesting here. Number three goes to the Oculus Quest with 21%. And we've got, Oculus Quest with 21%. Number four is PlayStation VR with 13%. I'm kind of surprised it's down that low there. And then we have Gear VR with 10%. We've got Oculus Go with 11%. Magic Leap and HoloLens both have 8%. And Google Daydream has 6%. So that is kind of the way things are going. And somebody did the math there, and Crunchy was like, wait a minute, that's way over 100%. This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know. Well, see, here's the reason why it's way over 100% is because a lot of these developers are working on 4 different projects simultaneously. Or they're working on something that is for the Vive and for the Rift, and it's for the Quest, or it's for PSVR and blah, blah, blah. So that's why the percentages are all kind of over the place there. Oh yeah, 42% are working on PlayStation VR 2. And Mark P says, why wasn't Steam... Oh, you know what? I need to have my chat popped out in the right spot here. Hold on a second, guys. Chat needs to be popped out over here in the right spot. I think that's the previous episode there. I've got to have the right popper. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So Mark P. Let's get this arranged in the right spot. Move this over here like this. Okay. Yeah. Mark P. says, why weren't Steam VR and Windows Mixed Reality listed? Well, Steam VR is part of the HTC Vive Valve thing, so that's part of there. And Windows Mixed Reality isn't listed because why would it? Nobody wants to. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, Windows Mixed Reality games are going to work with the Valve Vive games. They're going to work with the Rift games, so they just, I guess they don't feel like they need to like make a separate category for that. And I don't know if I mentioned Google Daydream, but Google Daydream was down there at 6%. So that is the pre-GDC survey, and I don't know that anything is super shocking there in terms of how those numbers break down. I think it's all relatively understandable. Okay. The next biggest story I have for today is Project North Star. So let's go ahead, hold on a second here. Let's go ahead, yeah, let's switch over to our Webby browser here. And so we do have some new information coming out about Project North Star, mechanical update number 3. And so basically, you guys remember this whole thing with Project North Star. Really weird, goofy looking headset. One of the goofiest looking things I've ever seen put on somebody's head. But basically, this is Leap Motion. And Leap Motion has a dream. And their dream is called North Star. And what they've decided to do is like, nah, we're not actually going to make this headset. We're not going to make this thing. We're not going to bring this thing to market. But you know what? We're going to create this interesting design. And let's hope that somebody else is going to take on all that risk and all that investment of actually manufacturing these things. And so they've kind of created this like open source design for an incredible AR headset that, yeah, you're going to look goofy as hell when you wear this thing, but it's going to be capable of a lot of interesting things. This is Project North Star. And so this is North Star Release 3. They have consolidated several months of research and insight into a new set of 3D files and drawings, kind of breaking down how this whole thing works out. And so as you can see here, they got cable strain relief lid, they've got bracing right there, they've got some threaded inserts, they've got a thicker frame, a grasping surface, interconnected display trays, optics angle adjustment. It is going crazy. They've got a new forehead piece for better comfort. And, you know, they've got some GIFs here kind of showing you how exactly how bendable and manipulatable the whole thing is. So it's very lightweight, very comfortable, that will go upon your dome piece. And, you know, another problem with the previous designs was slide away optics. The optics bracket would slide away from the face occasionally, especially if the user tried to look downward. But they've made some new brackets, new springs, a lot of new stuff with their design there to try to make it a little bit smarter, a little bit more intelligent. So weight, balance, and stiffness all comes together. Most of the North Star's headset weight does come from the cables, and they had to counterbalance that. They had to thicken certain areas, interlocking components, all kinds of stuff like that. So, you know, it's interesting. I mean, we don't have a lot to go on here. Again, the hope here is that somebody else is going to take this ball and run with it. What they say here at the end, while the bleeding edge of Project North Star's development is in our San Francisco Tech Hub, the work of the open source community is a constant source of inspiration, with so many people independently 3D printing, adapting, and sharing our AR headset design. We can't wait what you do next with Project North Star. You can go ahead and download the latest designs from Project North Star's GitHub page. And yeah, so, you know, a nice little breakdown here. And, you know, hey, I'm not going to hate on this. I think it would be awesome if somebody does pick up the ball here and runs with it and actually brings this thing to market. One of the things they did mention is regarding interchangeable focal distances. So fixed focal distances are one of the leading limiting factors in current VR technology, in that basically our eyes naturally change focus to accommodate the real world. But with VR tech, it renders everything to the same focus. So they spent considerable time determining where NorthStar's focal distance would be set, and basically they feel like it depends on the application. So they're releasing 2 pairs of display mounts, one at 25 centimeters and the other at an arm length, 75 centimeters. Naturally, 75 centimeters is much more comfortable for content further away. Now, what I don't understand about this is, are they saying that you're going to have this headset and it basically has these things that clip on at 25 centimeters, and then you're going to have like a different experience, and it's like, okay, I got to unclip this and clip it at 75 centimeters, and I'm going to unclip this one and clip it on at 75 centimeters, and now, oh yeah, it's much more comfortable, and now the content seems, you know, more at like an arm's length, and it makes more sense and it feels better. I don't think people are going to be snapping things off and on. So I kind of wonder about that. Or is it going to be a situation where they're basically like, you could have 2 completely different designs. And so like if you want, like for example, you're in a BMW showroom and you want to show somebody something with AR, and you already have it set up at 75 centimeters, and so that is a fixed, rigid design. It's locked in at 75 centimeters, and it works for the particular content that you're doing, because it's going to be a little bit of farther away content, and it's going to feel more normal and more logical from that distance. So I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about here, but yeah, this is Project NorthStar, and looks a little bit sci-fi there in terms of its design. But you know what? I gotta say, Leap Motion, they have some really good interaction. See, really what they want to do, you see this little thing right here? That is the Leap Motion module, and that is the whole idea here. If they can make this some kind of standard that people really jump into in a major way, they are going to sell a shit ton of their little Leap Motion sensors that go on the top of it. And that's their total goal. That's their total idea there. So they're hoping that that will happen for them. But that is Project NorthStar. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next story of the day. And you know what? A lot of people were talking about this on our subreddit. And I'm kind of surprised that, well, no, I was going to say, Fluke says, I'm surprised the tested guys haven't built one. And I just read that. And then I said, I'm kind of surprised, but I wasn't surprised. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into our next story. Our next story is about Dirt Rally 2 VR. And so let's bounce over here to, Adam is counting on you. Sign this petition. Yeah, we'll worry about that. Okay, so hashtag no VR, no buy, brah. No VR, no buy, man. That's the hashtag. So Codemasters, please, for the love of God, would you add VR support for Dirt Rally 2.0 on PC and on PlayStation 4? And you can see 4,110 people have signed. Let's get this to 5,000. I have not signed it yet. I have not signed it yet, ladies and gentlebots. So if we go all the way down here, you know, so there's a lot of talk about what's going on here, but really it comes down to here. Okay, so yesterday, speaking with usgamer.net, Codemasters community manager Christina McGrath officially confirmed our worst fears, that VR support is not in the plans and the developers are focusing on making the core game experience before launch and after that. She also added, and here's where the glimmer of hope comes in, she also added, if there is demand from our community, then we'll explore the possibility. So that's what's going on here. That's why on this change.org petition, hashtag no VR, no buy, brah. And that's what they're doing here. So if you are a big fan of Dirt VR and you cannot believe that Dirt Rally 2 does not have VR support, what you want to do, go ahead, sign this petition. Now, of course, I always hear that these petitions never do anything. Like, they never actually result in anything. Does anybody know the last time a petition like this actually did something? Because I don't really know. Okay, let's see. They have an update. Let me read this one real quick. Update. It is and was not my intention to threaten Codemasters. We appreciate your job, and our goal is just to show you how much we like the VR update in Dirt Rally, and we think it is a killer feature in the upcoming Dirt Rally 2.0. Personally, if the game will deserve my money, I'll buy it at launch regardless if it features VR support or not. But I really understand the point of the thousands of gamers that will consider the absence of VR support a deal breaker. Yeah, that's thousands of sales. A lot of people around the internet are commenting and tweeting with hashtag #NoVR, For this reason, then he decided to do that. I decided to launch the hashtag #NoVR, to help spreading this petition around the web. NoPancakes.com. Please keep signing, sharing, and commenting using this hashtag. Thank you very much. So yeah, that is the petition. Have you guys signed it? That is the question. I'm looking over here at chat. Jim Hall, 5,000 SIGs. Sounds like a drop in the bucket for a big game dev. Yeah, so that's what's going on over there. I wonder why, why is Codemasters doing this? And Conrad Lawrence says, isn't this an old story? Well, if we bounce over to the Vive subreddit, let's see, here's the Oculus subreddit. I don't know if maybe I don't have the Vive subreddit up here, but let me just go ahead and put the Vive subreddit on here real quick. This is like a really hot thing that is going on the Vive subreddit. That's why it's one of my news stories. See, look right here. This has been updated. It's been upvoted 429 times. Dirt Rally 2.0 drops VR. Codemasters ask for a show of interest. Sign this petition, please. We've got 133 comments. People are hyped. People are into it. And yeah, the #1 response here is by iRoll20s, and he says, man, it's impossible to go back to pancake racing games after you've done them in VR, especially Rally, where you really have to track out the side of your car a lot. And so, yeah, it's the #1 upvoted thing on the Vive subreddit. So, yeah, we heard about this a long time ago, but it is back in the news basically because of that community manager saying, look, if you really want us to add VR, make a bunch of fuss about it, and then maybe we'll reconsider at that point. And King Hell says, can't go back to flat dirt. I played Dirt Rally, the first one. I played it on PSVR. And it was back in the days when everybody was like, oh my God, Dirt Rally on PSVR. It's huge. It's awesome. And it was only on PSVR for a while. I think it didn't come to the VR part didn't come to the regular PC VR Dirt Rally until a little bit later. And it was a big PSVR thing. And you had to have the full version of Dirt Rally, and then you had to pay this extra amount of money to get the VR version and all of that. And I did all of that, and I got into it. And the one thing I did love about it, the one thing that was really cool about the original Dirt Rally, is see a lot of VR games, what they do is a lot of the racing games, they do a trick where they're rendering the track, and they're rendering the roadside detail that is really close to the track, but then as it goes out a little bit further, it's not actually a real 3D world. It's more they're rendering this little area of the world, and they're dialing it in. And the one thing about Dirt Rally on PlayStation VR way back in the days that I thought was really amazing is you get into that Dirt Rally, you're riding around, and it is 3D way out there. You'll see a barn. You'll drive by a barn that's a couple hundred yards off the left of the track, and it is 3D way out there, and it's 3D way out there. It's not just this track and just this initial roadside facade. It's they really make it 3D going out, and there's something about that adds that extra level of immersion. So I did like that. But for me, all the bouncing around that you do in in a rally kind of a game. Dirt Rally didn't really work very well for me. So I'm not like a huge fan of Dirt Rally, but I appreciate that you guys are a huge fan. So, you know, what else is going on over here? Darrell Valley. It is available on Steam. Yes, this game is finally available, guys. It took long enough, but it is finally available. It is out today, January 25th, and the price is 20 bones. And unfortunately, there's no little like launch day discount. Normally, we always see like a 10% off until like, you know, January 30th or something like that, or we get this for $17.99. But no dice, it is a straight 20 spot. But you know, I've been in the demo of Darrell Valley, and I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful world. Like, talk about like trackside detail and things being very 3D. It is a beautiful world. I like what they've done here in Darrell Valley. Like, I think it is a cool looking world. I enjoyed my time in the demo. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of just screwing around. I did derail my train, but I didn't realize, like, okay, you want to go back, you want to pick up these other cars, you want to connect them, you can switch to different tracks and stuff. There is stuff that is actually going on in this game, and you do get different kinds of locomotives and stuff like that, so that is pretty cool. Darrell Valley is out there if you are interested. Okay, so the next story that I want to get into is... So actually, you know what? I'm going to do a Google search real quick here. Let's see if I can find this. I have a trailer that I'm going to pop on the screen, but let's see. I'm going to put Wolves in the Walls, and then I'm going to go Fable, and I'm going to go VR. And let's see if we can find, yeah, okay, here it is. Okay, so there's this studio, guys. It is called Fable. I'm going to go to their main page. So this is their main page right here. Fable Studio. Now, who the hell is Fable Studio? Well, they're actually, most of the people that are in Fable Studio are former Oculus Story Studio team members. Now, Oculus, they shut down Oculus Story Studio, but the vast majority of all those people found new life in this development studio called Fable. And luckily, they've got some venture capitalist money behind them, and they are doing things. They are making it happen. If I click over here on team, it's going to show their team here. You got the co-founder, Edward Sachi. You got Pete Billington, co-founder and director. These guys are the two main guys that have started this whole thing. And then this is basically the Fable team. You got all of them there and a bunch of them right here as well. And yeah, you know, they are working on stuff. Now, one of the things, let's go look at experiences. They've got Wolves in the Walls. Now, I'm still like, when is this thing gonna, like, when can I see Wolves in the Walls? That's one of my questions, because we've heard about this Wolves in the Wall thing. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival back in January 2018. You can watch the Wolves in the Walls trailer. It's a pretty cool thing. You know, it's a very interesting idea. It's got a nice kind of visual style and stuff. But when can I actually experience this in VR? That is actually a good question. And unfortunately, it's a question that has not been answered. Now, another thing that they have here is, this is what's in the news. It's called Whispers in the Night. And, oh, you need like a password to get in there. That's interesting. Last time I clicked on that, I don't think it did that. But they've got a new thing. It's called Whispers in the Night. And that kind of goes into a bigger overall story where it's all about artificial intelligence, okay? Artificial intelligence and characters in virtual reality, eventually augmented reality as well. And let's face it, artificial intelligence characters even in pancake gaming, although that's going to be kind of boring, right? But we'll talk about that in a minute. But what I did is, there is a trailer for Whispers in the Night. There's a trailer, but it's like 4 minutes long, and it's a lot of talking and blah, 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 blah. And who wants to hear any of that, right? So what I did was, I took that trailer, I edited it down to about 1.5 minutes, and it kind of gives us the gist of Whispers in the Night, which is going to be premiering at the Sundance Film Festival very soon here. So let's go ahead and check out this trailer, and when we come back, we can kind of talk for a quick minute about this idea of artificial intelligence coming to interactive characters in VR, because I think this is going to be a really freaking big deal. I'm turning up the volume on this because we're going to go to our little Whispers in the Night trailer. So let me go ahead and grab this. Just a sec. Whispers in the Night.
Whispers in the Night is a virtual being's experience. It's the first time that you get to have a conversation with Lucy, our virtual being.
With Whispers in the Night, we are asking more from our audiences than we've ever asked before.
You spend this emotionally connective moment with Lucy. It's very intimate. Literally talking into a tin can telephone where you can listen and then say things back to her.
Lucy just invites you into her space and she asks you, "Hey, can you hear me?" Lucy starts to talk about how her grandmother used to say this thing, how most people are good. So she starts asking you questions about when was the last time you met a good person and what was their name and did you learn anything from them? We are expanding upon Lucy's senses, her voice, her hearing.
Computer vision to give the character eyes, natural language processing so that the character can speak to us.
We are really asking audiences to open up, to use your voice, to have a conversation with the character, which is this whole new amazing realm.
When you are interacting with Lucy and you're telling Lucy things, Lucy's going to remember.
She's storing those memories, and the potential to use that back in the larger story is incredibly powerful.
Lucy says, "Hey, Cyan, how are you doing? What's been up since the last time we saw each other?" What? I mean, that's some futuristic, amazing, and we're now. It's not the future, it's now.
Don't move.
Whispers in the Night is a virtual being's experience.
Alrighty, guys. I was able to eat that apple in that entire little trailer there, so that worked out very perfectly for me. Yeah, so this is Whispers in the Night, and so what they're talking about here, they're talking about AI characters, and this is next level. Like, I'm not saying like these guys are actually going to figure this out, but this is where we're going, guys. This is where we're going. Imagine this. Imagine the future of VR where you have a character that literally has some legitimate, real deal AI, and it can come over to you and it can have an actual conversation with you. It is going to be such a game changer. It is going to be like none other. And it's really tailor-made for VR, because if you think about it, imagine, machine learning, blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. I mean, this is all about the blockchain. All they got to do is get the blockchain working. If the blockchain is working and the neural networks are working together with the machine learning and the deep neural networks and IBM's Watson, if they can get it all together, it'll just work out great. It'll work out so nicely. And you know what? They're not going to use all your information against you. No, they would never do that. They're not going to have conversations with you to know every little thing about you and then to use that to sell products to you in the future. No, they would never do such a thing. It's for entertainment purposes only, of course. Yeah, but seriously, this is coming. It may be like 10, 15 years away, but it is coming. But I want to see freaking Wolves in the Walls. So Fable, what is up? Where is Wolves in the Walls? This Lucy character, she's in Wolves in the Walls, and she's also in this Whispers in the Night thing. But give us Wolves in the Walls for crying out loud. But yeah, if we can go back over here to our Webby browser. Let's go back over here to the Webby browser. See, they have this thing called virtual beings. And they're actually going to have this Fable, this Fable studio, is they're actually setting up like a convention for a lot of people to get together and talk about like virtual beings, basically artificial intelligence characters in AR, VR storytelling, they're actually going to have, like, here's our little Q&A. What is a virtual being? A virtual being is a character that you know isn't real, but with whom you can build a two-way emotional relationship. What are examples of virtual beings? Virtual beings range from digital influencers like little Michaela to artificially intelligent agents like Micah from Magic Leap. Is a virtual being only viewable in VR? No, a virtual being's life can be experienced through Instagram, augmented reality headsets, your iPad or iPhone, chat, Alexa, virtual reality glasses, and more. Just like us, virtual beings exist across many different media. Yeah, see, you could have, technically we could have a virtual being in a pancake game. Like, you could be sitting on your sofa, right? You've got your controller in hand, you're playing a pancake game. You could have a character in your pancake game that starts talking to you. Now, that kind of breaks the fourth wall, right? And so it doesn't really work with a pancake game unless it's like Deadpool or something. You know, it'd be absolutely perfect for Deadpool, right? You have a Deadpool pancake game where he's always talking to you, breaking that fourth wall, you know, and he's like commenting stuff and talking to you, but with real AI intelligence. Like, that would be cool for Pancake, but that's really the only thing where it's going to work in Pancake. The rest of this, I think it's all about the first person. It's all about that immersion. And I'll never forget the very first time. This was very, very early in my VR experiences. This is back in April of 2016. What do you call it? The Gallery Episode 1, you know, Call of the Starbreeze, right? Is that what it is? Call of the Starbreeze? Call of the Starseed. Starbreeze. Call of the Starbreeze. No, Call of the Starseed. I was in that game, and that was one of the very first games where a character was like looking at me and talking to me. We didn't get that a lot back then. Batman Arkham VR is another example. You know, characters looking at you and talking to you. But imagine that with actual legitimate AI, like real deal machine learning AI, real deal neural networks, real deal blockchain, baby. Blockchain, 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 and then you add the power of 5G, and it is over, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. But yeah, this is Whispers in the Night. I'm very interested in this, but again, somebody tell me, when can I see Wolves in the Walls? Because that should be available on Oculus by now. I don't understand what's going on there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's head back over here to our standard scene. And okay, so the next thing I wanted to get into is I do have a trailer for an upcoming VR game. Now, what I do every once in a while, it's been slow news a little bit, you know, slow, not a ton of news. And so one of the things I like to do is I like to hop over to Steam, look at the upcoming Steam VR games, and see if there's anything that catches my eye as a possible upcoming VR game that might be flying a little bit under the radar. And I think I found one. It is called Eye of the Temple. It is coming sometime in 2019. It is developed by developer Sanctum Dreams. Let's go ahead and check out this trailer. It's called Eye of the Temple. And when we come back, we can go ahead and take a look at their Steam page. So I'm going to go ahead and pump up the volume on this.
Which is this whole new amazing realm.
Let's go ahead and switch up.
When you are interacting with Lucy and you're telling Lucy
Alrighty, so yeah, that is Eye of the Temple. And, looking at this trailer, so the developer is Sanctum Dreams. Now, Conrad Lawrence says indie. Yes, this is indie. This is absolutely indie. There's no question about it. But I don't know. I kind of like the visuals. It kind of reminds me of like Eagle Flight a little bit. It kind of has this little cell-shaded style. And it's a puzzle game, but it looks like a pretty cool puzzle game. You've got a whip. It's kind of Indiana Jones-esque, right? We just had, of course, Area of whatever it was called, Sentinel, Area of Darkness, which is kind of like a Lara Croft imitator kind of a game. This one it's definitely more puzzle game, but it does have a little bit of that Indiana Jones flavor. And it is called Eye of the Temple. It is developed by Sanctum Dreams. Certainly indie, hopefully, low price here, and an interesting kind of a puzzle game to get into. But I thought it looked kind of cool. Scion says, it is more of an obstacle course than exploration. And Crunchy says it has puzzle solving. Conrad Lawrence says looks like one to watch. Yeah, I'm not saying this is like going to be ranked in the top 40 most wanted Oculus Rift game list, but it does look like a halfway decent game. We could go ahead and bounce over and check out the Steam page for this. Let me get it on here. Here we go. Yeah, so here is the Steam page. It is Eye of the Temple. Eye of the Temple lets you explore a vast and treacherous temple in VR using your own feet. Keep your balance as you step from one moving block to another, dodging traps and solving puzzles with your torch and whip in hand. Okay, so it said, no teleporting, and I was thinking, okay, no teleporting. Well, how are you doing the movement? Is it like a node-based movement system? So the way it works is you're going to step onto a block, and the block is going to, yeah. You're going to step onto a block, and the block is going to be moving around. And so, for example, like you'll step on a block, and maybe the block goes like this way, then it goes this way, then it moves back, then it goes this way, and it's slowly moving on like a square pattern or something like that. So you'll be standing on a block, and as it's moving around, there's probably going to be some kind of puzzle that you're going to have to solve. And so you're going to have to figure out how to solve it. And then that might get you onto another block that then starts moving in a different kind of a way. So kind of an interesting design choice. A lot of developers early in the world of VR gaming, everybody's trying to figure out, how do I make a VR game that has movement that won't make people very sick, won't make people motion sick, They're worried about regular everyday Joe Schmoes out there. Now, all of us, we've got our sea legs. It's not a problem. But there's a lot of people that suffer from motion sickness. And I think a lot of developers, especially in the early days of VR, they kind of were tripping over themselves to try to accommodate these people that suffer from motion sickness. Now we're in the year 2019. And it's a little bit different now. But a lot of these games started development in, early 2017, late 2016. This thing could have been in development for a long time. So, yeah, this is Eye of the Temple. Looks pretty good. We don't have like a real launch window here. It just says 2019. But I think it looks pretty good. So I think this is one that we might want to keep our eye on. It does say, though, here, this is kind of interesting. This VR game requires a play area of at least 2 meters by 2 meters. It also requires 360 degree tracking. So, yeah, you're stepping on a block, but you also need some room here. So it's kind of a room scale-ish kind of a game. So you're probably going to be like stepping, you got to go like this. You got to step over here, you're going to be stepping around a little bit. And so you got to have a little bit of an area to work with, and not necessarily a terrible idea. That is Eye of the Temple. All right, so that was one I did want to take a look at. Okay, the next story we have is, let's see, I've got a super data story, but I don't know if I have like an actual article for it. So why don't we go here, let's see, hold on one second, I'm trying to find it. Okay, well, let's just go to Upload VR real quick, and let's go ahead and give this a nice quick refresh. But I wanted to get into this super data. I wanted to get into a super data story, and I don't know if it's on here. Or maybe it was Road to VR. Where did I see this? I know I saw it somewhere. But basically, they have some numbers on how well the PlayStation VR has been selling. Let me go to Road to VR. It might have been on here. Damn, I don't know. Where did I see this? Or maybe it was on... actually, you know what? Let me go to the PlayStation VR subreddit. Maybe that's where I saw it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay, here it is. It's VentureBeat. It was a VentureBeat story. I knew I saw this somewhere. Okay, so this is in the news where SuperData, now they're kind of estimating a lot of this, and so we honestly don't know exactly how legit all of this is, but they do have some information here about what's been going on in the VR gaming industry. And one of the more interesting things that they did reveal, according to their numbers, which again, we got to take it with a gigantic grain of sea salt. And so what they're saying is PlayStation VR has sold 700,000 systems in the fourth quarter, which is the most of any system out there in the fourth quarter. And you know what? This is kind of a thought process that is, you know, we can go with this thought process here because remember the developers of Apex Construct Fast Travel Games. They saw an explosion of sales that just happened in the fourth quarter, and it was mostly on PlayStation VR. And so if you extrapolate that out there, PlayStation VR did have a giant boost of sales in the fourth quarter. It is legitimate. And so I don't know that it's completely out of the range of possibility that they really did sell 700,000 units. And then you can see that they say that the Oculus Go sold 555,000 units in that same time period. The Oculus Rift sold 160,000 units, and the Vive sold 130,000 units. And yes, Brad Pitt is still very single. He is single and available, ladies and gentlemen. SuperData attributes the strong sales in parts to appealing prices between Black Friday discounts and the release of games such as Beat Saber, Astrobot, Borderlands 2 VR, etc., etc. That is why a big explosion happened with PlayStation VR. And then when we're talking about Oculus Go, the easy-to-use Oculus Go, it's $199. It's appealed to first-time VR headset buyers. But some of these consumers are craving higher-end experiences, even higher-end than the Oculus Go. And then another thing that SuperData is talking about is they have a forecast that Oculus Quest is going to sell 1.3 million units. That is 1,300,000 units in the year 2019 due to high consumer interest. So there is a bit of a pent-up demand for the Oculus Quest. That is exciting. That is going to be coming. Look, we're burning through the month of January here. Pretty soon we are going to be in February, folks. And what comes after February? March. What comes after that? April. And maybe on the final day of April, we could be looking at an Oculus Quest release. Yes, Brad Pitt is very single. Do not believe the rumors. Jennifer Aniston is not having his baby. I saw that. I was at the supermarket the other day and I saw that. It's funny what happens with these celebrities. It really is. All right. Another thing that they're talking about here is that annual VR revenues have reached $3.6 billion, higher than the Nielsen-owned firm's late 2018 forecast of $3.3 billion. That's a 30% year-over-year increase in revenues, particularly noteworthy given holiday price drops for some of the leading VR devices. So basically, VR isn't dead. Forget what Codemasters has to say. Codemasters is saying, look, VR is dead. Why are we going to put VR in Dirt Rally 2? VR is dead. Move on. MoveOn.org. You know, MoveOn.org. But SuperData is saying, no, VR is not dead. It's a 30% year-over-year increase in revenue. So Codemasters, get with the program, brah. All you had, and this is Jeremy Horowitz. Remember, this is the Astrobot guy. This was the guy that I threw crazy shade on when he said that Astrobot was like a game-changing thing. Or he was talking about some game-changing thing in VR, and it turned out to be Astrobot. And I was like, this fool better not be talking about Astrobot. And then I played Astrobot, and I was like, Jeremy Horowitz is right. And so, yeah, he's the guy that has this story on SuperData. Okay, what is the next little story that we're going to get to? Okay, so the next little story, let's go back to the eye of the temple, and let me just go ahead and put in walk on arrow. Yeah, walk on arrow. So guys, walk on arrow, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, right, that we talked about this. Walk on arrow, a lot of people out there talking about walk on arrow. It is on sale. It's a 21% discount. This ends on January 30th. You can grab it for $8.68. Normal price is $11. This game's been around for a little while, but you know what? There's a demo out there. And so last night I was like, you know, I should probably jump in this demo. I should probably check out Walk on Arrow. I jumped into the demo, and I got to tell you, this game works pretty goddamn well. In fact, honestly, now this might really piss off MAME Fan, but I actually like this a lot more than Slightly Heroes. MAME Fan loves Slightly Heroes, let me tell you. And he ranks really high up the charts among Slightly Heroes players. He's probably #1, in fact, on the charts. MAME Fan loves him some Slightly Heroes. But I got into this baby last night, and I tried the demo. They've got a demo of 2 different areas, and it's a multiplayer demo. Now, the one downside, it's colorful, the sounds are good, it seems smooth, production quality is pretty well. It's certainly an indie effort, but it's a high-quality indie effort. Now, the one downside here, guys, is the movement system. It is exclusively teleport. There is no free locomotion whatsoever. And I got to admit that there's a lot of times where I feel like I want to do some goddamn teleporting. Oh, MAME Fan says he's #2. He's #2 on the Slightly Heroes charts. Okay, I was pretty darn close there. Pretty darn close. But there's no teleport movement. I mean, there's no free locomotion in this game. At least I couldn't find it. Maybe in the options or something. But basically, what you do is you hold down a certain button, and then it creates this big arcing arrow shot, and you can teleport all over the map. And you can teleport really fast, and you can teleport on top of buildings. You can teleport way, way up high on different buildings and different structures. And it's multiplayer only. I don't think there's any kind of bots or anything like that. So it's straight up multiplayer only, and it's kind of battle royale. Like, I was in this one mode where, you know, the island, it starts closing in on you. You know, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Basically, bottom line is I thought this was pretty good. You know, I thought this was pretty good. I can see why there is some hype on Walk on Arrow. Not too shabby. Is it the best thing since sliced bread? No. But if you really are a multiplayer guy, if you haven't tried the demo, at least try the demo. I would suggest trying the demo. And it's got a cool art style. You know, I really like this city level. Like, see that with the little Minecraft guy drinking Chestar Cola. And, you know, it's colorful, it's vibrant. I like it. It's pretty cool. I wish they had some trackpad locomotion as well, you know, just to kind of like, because I found myself like just wanting to push the thumbstick and just move a few feet. And it's like, man, I don't want to just teleport 5 feet, but it's nonstop teleport. So I don't know if they'll end up adding any kind of trackpad at some point in time. But that is Walk on Arrow. Not exactly terrible. Okay, so one of the things that we do like to do every single day, and we've been doing this recently, is we want to take a look at the Oculus daily deals. Now, certain days we have some incredible deals that are amazeballs. For example, just this week, zing, The Land Beyond was $10. It was the Oculus daily deal. It was $10. Sariento VR, I believe, was a daily deal. It was $20, normally $30. Arc Slinger was the daily deal. I don't know if that was yesterday. It was like $5. And Arc Slinger doesn't look too bad. I don't know if anybody bought it. Kind of looks a little bit Dead and Buried style. Now, what is our daily deal today? Well, it's an incredible game. It's an incredible, amazing game, but the price leaves a little bit to be desired. Let's go ahead and check it out here. The Talos Principle VR. So, the Talos Principle VR, one of my favorite VR games, period, end of story. Like, I believe this is without a shadow of a doubt one of the 50 best VR games that are currently available. In fact, I put it in my top 25 of all VR games out there. This is a banger, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you can get this for $30, but that doesn't seem like that great of a deal. But the normal price is $40, so you are saving yourself a 10 spot. This is 25% off. You do have 11 hours left, but you know, it's funny because the more that I look at this, there's only 9 ratings. What? There's only 9 reviews on Oculus. That is a damn shame, ladies and gentlemen. I got to start reviewing more stuff because that is not good. But what I was going to say is, when I look at this, it makes me think back to the Steam sale when you could have grabbed Talos Principle VR for $10. You could have had this for $10, guys. You should have had this for $10. Who didn't buy this for $10? I was almost tempted to buy it on one of my extra accounts just to make it easier to access for $10. Because it was such a great deal. Now it's $30. It is $10 off, but damn, y'all could have had this for $10. But that is the daily deal. That is Talos Principle VR, one of my favorite games, to be sure. All right, we have a couple of more trailers to get into. Now, the next trailer that we are going to go to, it is called Gloomy Eyes. And this is some kind of, it's a non-game, it's an experience type of thing. And I think it's actually going to be like some kind of cinematic VR episodal type of content. Like there's going to be episodes, and I believe it's voiced by Colin Farrell. It is called Gloomy Eyes. It's coming to Sundance 2019, so I heard a little bit about it. Grab the trailer. Don't know much about it at all, but let's go ahead and check this trailer out, and then we can see what we can find out about it. We can see what kind of information we can get on it. Gloomy Eyes. I'm going to pump up the volume on this, and we'll switch over to Gloomy Eyes. Let me go ahead and grab it. Well, that was short and sweet. Yeah, so this is a cinematic VR thing called Gloomy Eyes. It is coming to the Sundance Film Festival 2019, and I believe it's voiced by Colin Farrell. Kind of has a little bit of Nightmare Before Christmas kind of a look to it. You know, looks interesting. Gloomy Eyes. Okay, let me go ahead and bounce over to the story about this. An animated VR experience, blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and bounce over to our Webby browser. And so here we are. We're on Variety, y'all. Yeah, Variety, a nice website. Colin Farrell boards Sundance-bound VR series Gloomy Eyes. Exclusive. Colin Farrell is stepping into virtual reality with Gloomy Eyes, a 3-part animated VR series, okay, so 3 parts, whose first episode will premiere in the New Frontier section at the Sundance Film Festival. Farrell has come on board to narrate all 3 episodes of Gloomy Eyes, which tells the story of a young human girl and a zombie boy whose love transcends the boundaries in a world where zombies are considered outlaws. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. And co-produced by Riot Art and HTC Vive with the support of CNC Unity and Rome's Alps. Let's see the statement that they have here. Anything that invokes a sense of magic and total immersion is worth gold. And it was amazing to be part of the vision Fernando and Jorge created in Gloomy Eyes, Farrell said. It's a completely transportive and beautiful experience, unlike anything I've ever seen before, and really connected with my passion of storytelling. Okay, I just wanted to see if they have any kind of information on when we're... See, the problem is we never find out when we're actually going to see this crap, man. We always find out about it, but then we never know when we're actually going to see it, unless you actually go to Sundance yourself. Now, here's what it says at the very end. Launched in late 2017, Atlas V attended Sundance last year with an episode of Spheres. Now, we have seen Spheres. Spheres, an interactive journey inspired by the iconic pale blue dot image of Earth. Spheres was narrated by Jessica Chastain and other stars, and executive producer Darren Aronofsky and Ari Handel at Protozoa. Spheres was bought at Sundance by City Lights in the first known 7-figure deal for a VR experience at a festival. Yeah, so, not a lot of information here, but yeah, it's called Gloomy Eyes. I saw something about it. Thought I would mention it real quick. All right. But that's going to, phone booth, y'all. Phone booth, y'all. SWAT. Yeah, is that the Colin Farrell guy? Colin Farrell, the best movie he was ever in, Minority Report. Minority Report was a good movie. I really liked Minority Report. Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell. Didn't really like him in a lot of other movies. Remember Alexander? Wasn't he in a movie called Alexander? Something that was just absolutely god-awful. Alrighty, well, you know what? That's going to go ahead and do it, guys, for another episode of VR365, a double header. I got to tell you, I need to drink a hell of a lot of water. My voice is tired. I've been talking for a long time. Double headers are not easy. Yeah, Alexander the Great, and he had like blonde hair and everything, and it was absolutely awful. Absolutely god-awful. He was also wasn't he in the remake of Total Recall? Like, the Total Recall remake was mediocre. Total Recall needed a way better remake than that. Yeah, Crunchy, Total Recall reboot. He was good in The Lobster. Okay. Yeah, he was pretty good in Phone Booth. He was pretty good in Phone Booth, and he was good in Minority Report. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of VR365. Once again, go ahead and hit that like button if you would like to do so. Also, go ahead and subscribe to our channel because we're doing big things, folks. Every once in a while, double header episodes. We took you guys behind the curtain on how the sausage is made, and it wasn't as bad as you guys thought it was. That was our first episode today, and then, of course, we did episode 78, which is what we just did here. And we're going to have an episode tomorrow, of course, as well. It is VR 365, 365 days a year, give or take about 22 days. And so we will be back tomorrow at about 12 noon Pacific time. And so I will see everybody then. And that's basically going to do it. So have a wonderful Friday, guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.